Right, so following on from pulling the BYD Blade battery pack apart out of the Atto 3, I pulled this contact block out of it. Um, haven't really seen anywhere on the battery pack where there is a fuse anywhere. Like the positive bus bar just comes up to this point over here, this bolt here, and the negative of all the cells comes over to this point. Where is it? On the camera there. Comes up to this point here, but there's no fuse on the actual pack, so I'm assuming there's a fuse somewhere inside this somewhere. So we've got the low voltage connections in here, the aircon pipes that go to the chiller fed in through here on the front of the pack there, and these are your two high voltage connections there. Looking over it, I did notice there's a couple plastic snaps that will snap off of the pack. Got what looks to be a pre-charge resistor here and a little pre-charge relay over here. Yeah, so I'll pull it all apart and see if I can find a fuse in this thing. Alright, no signs of a fuse in there, just a bus bar straight from there up to there, across to there, into this contactor here, and from there up to here, which then goes in this link bar over to the other side where the high voltage connector is out of the battery. So no fuse in there, and we'll continue pulling it apart, but so that's what you didn't come out before. There's little tabs down in there. No, it doesn't fit. Alright, so we've got the battery management board that feeds off into all the little BMS daughter boards on it. So I'm looking at this as obviously the connector that goes off to all the contactors, I'm guessing there. Yeah, that switches all the contactor coils. We've got a shunt at the end here. That'll be measuring the current flow in and out of the battery. Got a whole heap of what looks to be some little resistors and that in there. They're covered in hot glue. That'll all be for like isolation detection and stuff like that. And a couple of little bits of hot glue shoved around in here, including on the processor there. Couple high voltage marks on it. Putting it all back together, and I found that these terminals here are high voltage. Positive goes over via these connectors here, over to this plug here, which I thought was going to be the wires for the contactor coils, but it's actually just the high voltage sense wires for the BMS motherboard here. So I know what pack voltage is and pre-charge and all that sort of gaff. I've got to get those 8mm out. And we got the first contactor out. So 250 amp, 12 volt contactor. Nice little package. Just chip in plug. Couple copper terminals on top. Alright, on to the other half. Bingo. There you go, pre-charge relay. Get the thing to focus. Oh, 10 amp relay contactor. Well, here she is. Does have a fuse. 350 amp, 800 volt. Let's get the rest of it apart. one fuse. Pre-charge resistor. No specs on it. There's some numbers on the side there. And the negative contactor. Looks like it's identical to the positive one. Where is that? Let's get this crap on the top here. Is that the negative side? I think it was. I need to go back and have a look. The stickers are different, but the part numbers are the same. Oh, there we go. Slightly different mounting lugs. That's a bad design. Are the part numbers the same then? NE250CIS GLC-1. -1. Change the lug across. Way to make your assembly line more complex and expensive. Yeah. So, now we've got just the HV port. Oh, it's got a little part number on it as well. See if we can get that out of the light. There we go. We've got to get all the other part numbers now as well. So that's that contactor. And that contactor. And the fuse. This little low voltage connector, which didn't have any numbers on it, other than this sticker here for the QR code. These little things, these have also got little QR codes on them. Close up with this board. So it's not bad design. They've crammed a lot of stuff in where they could, across the front of the battery pack there, but, why they're different, I'll never know. The fuse is quite good. It's quite small for the size that it is. Pre-charge resistor is what it is. Connector's quite small. Low profile. No sort of interlock on it at all. So you could unplug this and theoretically, if the contactor's still powered up, it wouldn't have any idea that you've unplugged it. Don't know how I feel about that. There we go. All right. Looking a little bit further into the interlock circuit on it, I went and grabbed the actual cable that runs up to the inverter junction box up under the bonnet there. So this is the bit that plugs into the battery, and this is the bit that plugs up into the inverter there. The connector that plugs into here actually does have a, let's see if we can zoom that in for you, does actually have a little set of shorting pins in the middle there for closing an interlock circuit. But on here, there's nothing actually in there. There's just an empty spot. So it looks like they've got the ability to have an interlock circuit on this plug, but they've just decided to not implement it. Now, this other end here, doesn't really look like it has a set of shorting pins. There might be something down in there that's shorting out. I'll need to have a bit of a closer look at the car, so to see if that will actually disable it. Oh. All right, and one final last little bitty bit before I go. This is the cooling channels, or well, where the aircon pipes come into the front of the battery pack. I've lopped this off it because I'm not going to need all this stuff on it, and I want to create more space. So I'll sort of have a bit of a close up here. You can see. So each one of these plates, which runs out across the top of the battery pack, is just full of tiny little channels there for the refrigerant to run into. Yeah, I just thought, while I've got you on the desk in here, I might give a bit of a close-up of this for you as well. All right. Thanks for watching.